Hello everyone, welcome back to the Java tutorial series. In this video, we will learn about variable arguments in Java. We call it as Varargs. Okay, we will understand what Varargs are, why they are useful, how to use them, and the rules you should remember while working with them. So let's get started. So what are variable arguments? What is this variable argument? So normally methods require a fixed number of parameters. Okay, but sometimes we don't know how many values will be passed. So Java solves this problem using variable arguments or Varargs. A Varargs parameter allows a method to receive any number of arguments of the same data type. What does it mean? So variable argument, by name it is clear, the argument we know, right? What is argument? Arguments are the values which we passed from the method call. I hope you remember. Arguments are the actual value which are passed in the method call statement. Now it is saying variable arguments, varargs. That means arguments will be variable. So allow a method to accept 0 or more arguments of the same data type. It is introduced in Java 5. Okay. So how it is represented? It represented using 3 dots. So here this is one syntax you can see. So while defining method, return type, method name, and the data type. After data type we need to add 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, and the variable name. So this is variable arguments. That means this is method definition. Okay, method definition. So in method definition we are adding 3 dots after data type. Let's say int dot and variable name, let's say anything x. Okay, and let's say we have method add. This is what method definition. We will be having some line of code. Method definition. Now if we call this method, how do we call method? By method name add, and inside method call we will be having arguments. But before that, what we were doing, instead of using 3 dots, we were simply writing 1 parameter in the method definition or 2 parameter in the method definition. But in this case, what we are doing, we are providing data type and then 3 dots. That means in the method call statement, this is method call. Okay, in the method call statement, we used to pass arguments based on the number of parameters in the method definition. But since we are using variable arguments, we can pass any number of values. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 100. Okay, any number of values we can pass. That can be handled by this method. Okay, so even if we pass 10, add 10, it will work. This method will work. Even if we pass 10, 20, it will work. Even if we pass 10, 20, 30, it will work. So we can pass 10, we can pass 10, 20 both, we can pass 10, 20, 30, all 3. Okay, so this is what variable arguments in the method call. These are what arguments. Whatever actual value we pass in the method call, we call it as arguments. And we are reading variable arguments. So it can be variable, it can be either 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 100. Okay, we can pass n number of arguments in the method call. But how can we do this? Using varargs in Java, using 3 dots. So this is the power of variable arguments. Okay, we will take examples, we'll have better understandings. So why use Varargs? Why use Varargs? So without Varargs, we need multiple overloaded methods to handle different number of parameters, as we have seen in the previous examples, right? If we want to add two numbers, we will define like this. And if we want to add three numbers, we will define like this. We are overloading the method. Remember, like same method name but different parameters. Different parameters. We are overloading methods with different parameters, but we are defining three times. We want to add one number, we want to add two number, we want to add three number. We are defining three times. We are overloading same method again and again. But with the help of Varargs variable arguments, we can define like this with a single method. With a single method, we can define like this: int data type and then three dots. Data type followed by three dots, space, and the variable name. So this is the syntax. Okay. So while defining method, we should use three dots. And when we are calling the method, in the method call, when we pass arguments, since we are using three dots, we can pass any number of arguments. It can be only one, it can be two, it can be three, it can be four. This all arguments will be going to this value, numbers. Okay. It is not like previous. We have defined two parameters, so we can pass only two parameters. It is not like this. And here in this method, we have defined three parameters, so we can pass only three parameters. And in this method, we can pass only four arguments. So it is not rigid. So using variable argument, it became flexible. Whatever number you can pass, even it can be 1, 2, or 3, or 4. So what are the benefits if you are using this variable arguments? Less code, right? With only one method, we are able to achieve these things. We don't need to implement all these 3-4 methods. Less code. No multiple overloaded methods. See, we are overloading same method name and different parameters. So that is also not required. Flexible method calls. Just now I explained. We can do like this. We can do like this. We can do like any number of arguments we can pass, and the same method will get called. This one. Okay. Flexibility increased. Better readability. See, with the only one method, we can see it is variable argument. If we pass variable arguments, it will handle. This method will handle. Okay. So readability is also increased. So without Varargs, we need to multiple overloaded methods to handle different number of parameters. But with Varargs or variable arguments, a single method can accept any number of values, making the code cleaner and easier to maintain. Now let's go to IntelliJ and see some examples for better clarity. So what we are reading, variable arguments. Okay. Now I will define one method, static void display. Display is what? Method name. Now I will use data type as int and I will use variable arguments, three dots, and variable name is numbers. Now I will print what? I will simply print, okay, I will take one loop int num colon number. This is advanced loop. I hope you remember what we studied. This is advanced loop and we will print the num. Okay. Now let's say this is method definition. Go by very basic things. If we are unable to get, we should go by basics. Okay, this is what method definition. Okay, here what we are doing, method call. We will call method. How do we call the method? By method name. What arguments we will provide? Since here we are using variable arguments, we can pass any number of values, any number. So let's say we will take, for example, 10. Okay, only one value I am taking. Now what will happen? This 10 will go to these numbers. Okay, and we are iterating these numbers, that how many numbers are there, and for each numbers we are printing. So in this case I provided only one value, so it will iterate only one time and it will print 10. That's it. Let's verify. See, the output is 10. Now if we can provide multiple values. Okay, 10, 20, 30. Okay, now we have provided 3 values. We are not modifying anything in the method. Same method will handle these things also, because variable arguments. See, 3 dots. Let's verify. If we are providing 3 values, means what it will do? These 3 values will be going to numbers. Then we are iterating in the for loop the numbers. This is advanced for loop. Okay, each time it will extract the value. So first iteration 10 will be extracted, num, then that is printing. Then again in the next iteration 20, it is printing 20. Then again in the next iteration it is picking 30, it is printing 30, like that. Let's verify. See, in the output you can see, right, 10, 20 and 30. Same method. We have not provided any different methods. We have not done any overloading for 2 parameters, for 3 parameters. All are handled by variable arguments. Okay, you might be thinking how it is happening. We are passing some values. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be any number of arguments we are passing here, and this is getting handled by this parameter. How? So internally what it is doing, we are passing some values. Okay, let's say 3 values. So these 3 values is assigned to numbers, and what is the data type of this variable numbers is integer. But integer can hold only one value, right? But we are passing 3. How that 3 values are getting stored in integer? That is the question. So what it will do internally now, it will convert these values into an array, internal array, and it will assign that array into the variable numbers. And inside the body we are iterating that array and just printing that each value. Okay, I hope you understood. So here the display method accepts the number of integer values, whether we pass 0, 1 or 2 or any number of integers. The same method handles all of them. So inside the method, Java treats the Varargs parameter like an array. Okay. So you might be thinking how it is working. Okay. Let me write some more statements for better clarity. Let's say we have integer array and we are defining numbers. Okay. Integer array, and we are defining 10, 20, 30. Okay. So this is one array we have defined. Now we are calling the same method, and this time We are not hard coding. We are not hard coding like this 10, 20, 30. Instead, we are providing this array, numbers array. Just now we defined, right, integer array. So this array we are passing. Now what will happen? I will comment the first print statement, first call. Let's verify. See, again the same output. Okay, here we have passed array of 3 values. So internally what is happening? Java automatically creates an array for the value passed through the Varargs. Okay, that's why we can loop through the values just like a normal array. So even if we don't provide like this array, even if we don't initialize array and pass, Java will internally convert the value 10, 20, 30 into arrays and will assign to numbers. Okay, so we don't need to do these things. Java will do this thing internally. So we can pass like this. All values will be automatically converted into an array. Okay, let's take some other examples. I'm creating one more method, static int sum. I want to get sum of all numbers which is being provided by the arguments. Okay, numbers. So here I will get the list of numbers, array of numbers. Then what I will do, I am initializing one variable int total equals to 0. Okay, now I will iterate through the numbers, int num colon numbers. I am using advanced loop. Okay, we have one more loop. We used to initialize like int I equal to 0, index, we used to use index. So this is advanced loop, will directly get the value num as each value. Okay, so what we'll do this with this num total equals to total plus num. That's it. Okay, so what it will do, total is 0 now, then it will keep on adding this num value, keep on adding. If we provide, let's say 1, 2, 3, so total equal to 0, total equal to total plus num, so total will become 1. Then in the next iteration num will become 2, then total will become 1 plus 2, 3. Like this it will keep on adding all the numbers, and at the end we'll get the total, will return total from the method. Okay, so this is like very basic example. We are just adding all the numbers present in the numbers array. So let's call this method. Okay, let's sum. We will pass some 10, 20, 30, let's say one more value 40. Now what this method is doing, it is adding all numbers, 40 plus 30, 70 plus 20, 90 plus 10, 100. Okay, output should be 100. So let's verify. Okay, this is returning. Keep in mind this method is what? Returning. We are nowhere printing, right? So after calling this method we will get the value, so we need to print. So I will, for simplicity I will write int result equals to, and then we will print this result. Either way is fine. Okay, either way is fine. So we can directly print this method call, or we can take in one variable and we can print that variable. Okay, let's verify. So see, the value output is 100. What we are doing here, we are using variable arguments. That means any number of values can be passed in the method call. This is what method call. And each value of this array, so these values are first getting transferred into numbers array, and this number array we are iterating, and with each value we are adding in the total variable, and we are returning the total, and at the end we are storing in the result variable and we are printing the total. So that's what it is, 100. So the example calculates the sum of all numbers passed to the method. Since variable arguments behaves like an array, we simply iterate through each value and add it to the total. Now let's take one more example. See, the more example we see, our understanding will be better, right? It will take time, but the understanding will be good. So let's say static void, return type is void, student, method name is what? Student. I am taking two parameters, string name comma int three dots. Okay, marks. Three dots means variable arguments. Now this time I am printing name. Okay, I printed name, and in the next line I will iterate through marks for, let's say, int mark and marks. Okay, so we are iterating through each value of marks array, and what we'll do, we'll simply print, we'll do nothing. Okay, we are just printing each value. So this is one method which is taking two parameters, one is name and another is marks. Marks is of variable arguments. That means it can be either 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be any number of values, okay, of integer type. So marks will be treated as an array, and we are iterating array, and each value of this array we are just printing. Okay, so let's call this method. How do we call the method? By method name student, and the arguments will pass in the method call. So what is the name? Oh, what is the name? Now what are the marks we want to put? Let's say 98 comma 97 comma 89 80. Okay, so these are the marks we provided. Here in IntelliJ it is showing in a very good way that wiki is being stored in the variable name. See, name is the variable. Now these values 98, 97 and 80 are getting stored in the marks variable arguments. See, IntelliJ is showing very clearly. So marks array. So these three values will be stored in marks array, and we are iterating each value and we are just printing that value. So first name wiki will print, in the next line, next set of lines it will print 98, 97 and 80. Let's verify. See, in the output we can see, right? First name, then all values. Why these values are coming in the new lines? Why it is not coming in the same line? Because we are using print ln. Ln means line break. It will print, then cursor will go to the next line. Okay, so that's how it works. Now let's say rules of variable arguments. What are the rules of variable arguments? Okay, so there are few important rules. A method can have only one Varargs parameters. Only one variable argument parameter is allowed in a method. Okay, focus on this word. Only one Vararg. This three dot int 3 dot. Only one parameter, one variable argument parameter is allowed in the method, and it must always be last parameter. These are the rules we need to follow. So in the method definition, if we are using variable arguments, then that should be last parameter. What does it mean, last parameter? So let's say we have method add and we are providing something in string name comma something comma something comma. So the last parameter should be variable arguments int 3 dots marks or something. So this variable argument Varargs should be last parameter of the method definition. That's what it is telling. And Varargs can have 0 or more values. Okay, where it will be. So we will call in the method call. Since we are using Varargs, we can pass either zero values. Zero means we cannot pass anything, or we can pass one value, or we can pass two value. So it starts from 0 to more values in the method call. Java stores Varargs internally as an array, we have seen, right? So if whatever values we are passing, whatever multiple values we are passing in the method call, that is being stored in the array. Okay, if we are using Varargs, then this will be stored in the array. We have seen in the example, right? This value will get stored in the array, and we are iterating through that array, and we were printing. I hope you remember. Then these are the example, correct and incorrect. So this is method name. This is first parameter. This is last parameter. 3 dots they are using. Correct. But these are the examples of incorrect. Let's identify what is incorrect. Okay. So this is what method name. This is what Varargs. So we know one rule, right? Varargs should be last parameter. See, second point. It is violating second point. This should come on the last of the parameter. We cannot define on the first. So that's why it is incorrect. And only one variable arguments is allowed in one method. First point. It is violating first point. Second example. We cannot use two variable arguments in one method. Okay, so this is incorrect. Now, Varargs versus array parameters. Okay. So we have seen, like, if we pass these values, internally it will convert this thing into array. Internally these values will be getting converted into the array in the variable arguments, and we can iterate through these values, and whatever we want to do, we can do in the method. Okay. And another way is we can explicitly pass as an array for the variable arguments. So this is the method call. Okay. And in the method definition, we have 3 dots. Okay. Let's say int 3 dots. In the method definition, we have this Varargs. So while passing, if we are passing value, it will be converted into array by the Java. And explicitly we are passing an array. So that will also work. Okay. But this is not required. Not required. Why? What Java is doing internally? No. So array means explicitly array we are providing. This is less convenient. Okay. Less convenient. This is more convenient. If we are having existing array, we can pass. Okay. That is fine. But this is good option. We can pass directly values. So Varargs is actually syntactic sewer of arrays. Okay. We can say like that. So the difference is convenience only. Instead of creating an array manually, Java automatically creates one, and when we pass multiple values, it will convert an array and it will work accordingly. Okay, so what are the advantages of the Varargs? Variable arguments make methods more flexible, okay, and eliminate unnecessary overloading of methods. It improves code readability and simplify method calls. We have seen these things. Okay. So cleaner code, flexible method calls, it reduces method overloading. We don't need to define multiple methods with different parameters. We can use variable arguments and we can use only one method. It improves readability and it is very easy to use. Okay. Now, there are some limitations. Although Varargs are powerful, they have some limitation. Okay. They only work with one data type at a time. Only one Varargs parameter is allowed. We have seen So some rules we need to follow. Okay, must be last parameter, only one variable argument we can provide in one method. All arguments must be of the same data type. Excessive use can reduce code clarity. So these are some limitation of the Varargs. Okay, so let's quickly summarize what we learned so far. So we have learned like what variable arguments are, what are the syntax of Varargs, why Varargs are useful, how internal working are there, how the values are getting converted into an array. And we have seen different examples. What are the rules of variable arguments? Where Varargs parameters should be in the last parameters. Only one where when a variable arguments parameter is allowed. So these things we have seen, and also we have seen advantages and limitations of an Varargs. So that's all for this video. I hope this tutorial helped you understand what are the variable arguments and the concept of Varargs. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.